Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Minecraft Hardcore. Now in the previous episode we built our magnificent castle you can see behind us, and I must say I am extremely proud and very pleased with how it turned out. It is looking absolutely phenomenal on the outside, but inside is still a whole lot of nothing going on. Now that's something we'll get to in future episodes, because this is going to be a monster job, and right now I am not really in the mood to get into it. Now it seems that this has become something of a habit for me, and I promise in the future I will go down to all the houses down in the village and build them some interiors as well. But not today. And we're going to start off today by adding a little bit of life, not only to the castle grounds, but also to the water features on the side of the staircase leading up to our beautiful bridge. And we're going to be adding some fish. So let's get going. First things first, we are heading out to the coral reef, which is just over this mountain, and we're going to catch ourselves a bunch of tropical fish to add to those ponds. But in order to do that, we're going to be needing a few buckets. Now I want to add about 4 to each pond, which gives us a total of 12 buckets that we shall require to catch 12 fish, 4 for each one of the 3 ponds. So let's get down there, let's jump into that beautiful briny blue water and go grab ourselves some tropical fish. And we have found our first candidate, but these fish seems to be a lot more scarce than I would like them to be. I thought they would be plentiful, but except for pufferfish, I am actually really struggling to find some marine life around here. But finally, we have collected all 12 of the fish that we require, so we can head back to base, pop these guys in the water, and get on with the rest of today's program. That is, of course, if I head in the right direction first, which I think is that way. I've only 3 more rockets. Let's hope we make it. And yes, we made it. We've restocked our rockets and it's time to pop our fish into the pools. Now we're going to start over on this side. I'm going to chuck 4 in here. Then I've got 4 that I'm going to put on the other side of the stairs. And finally 4 in the palace fountain. And I'm going to try and randomize these guys as much as I can. But it seems we might have a bit of a problem, because I have actually previously stocked this pond, but all I can find of those fish that I've put in here is a single solitary sad salmon, which means they are somehow getting out of the water, landing on stone and dying, as I don't think fish in a bucket can despawn. Now if that is the case, then I see a bleak future for our new acquisitions, but we'll pop them in here and see if they survive. And it seems to be the same sad story up here in the castle pond. We've got 1 single salmon left in the water. So let's pop these guys in here. Let's see if they survive. And of course we're going to do our best to make sure that our pets stay alive. But I'm not going to spend too much time worrying about taking care of fish. So we've got all of those guys in here. Let's hope they stay on the water this time and they stay alive. And there goes the salmon. And that is why you guys don't survive. And we've already got one of the new fish being a total nitwit. Let's see if we can save him. I think, let's grab a bucket of water. Let's see if we can get that poor guy's... No, too late. So I've added a bunch of water to the fountain just to see if we can get these guys to actually survive. And I hate what it's done to the aesthetic, but if it helps my fish stay alive, maybe it's worth it. I'll leave them for a while and come back and check later. But now that we're done with the fish stories, it's time to take a look at this village. And what do we see? Or shall I ask, what do we not see? We don't see any villages. And I think I finally figured out why. These poor people have no food. And that is what we aim to rectify today. I've been scouting out the areas around the town, looking for the perfect place to create a farmland. And I have selected this area. Now there's only one problem, and that is that this is holy ground. And by holy ground I mean the ground is covered in massive, deep holes. Holes that can cause significant damage to farm equipment and personnel should they fall into it. Which means a cover-up operation is in order, so let's get busy with Operation Farmland. And we've done a lot of work. We've plowed, we've planted, we have covered up, and the area is looking a lot more manageable now. As you can see, we've got some farmland going over there. We've got some flattened out areas where we're going to be putting some buildings. And I think once we're done, this is going to look absolutely phenomenal. But first things first, farms this size require a lot of wheat seeds. And if I can stop throwing my rockets around, perhaps I can harvest some wheat, collect some seeds, and go plant them in the new fields. And with the planting done, it's time to get building. And we're going to start right over here where we are going to build a forge. And every forge requires a blacksmith, and a blacksmith requires a house, which is what we'll be building on top here. So we've gathered up our materials. Let's start building a forge and a blacksmith's house. And the forge and the house is done, and we've added in a bunch of details such as hot coals to smelt the metal, an anvil to bang it into plowshares and swords, we've got a grindstone, we've got a table, and inside we've got absolutely nothing because I haven't done the interior yet. However, if we move just up the hill towards the blacksmith house and we walk past this window, take a peek inside, we'll see absolutely nothing as well. But we'll get to that eventually, I promise. But for now, everything is looking really, really great, and we've still got a lot of work to do, I won't lie, but so far, so good. As you can see, we've still got the massive open well over here where anybody can fall in very easily because we haven't added a grate yet. And in general, I think this area is just missing a few trees, a little bit of growth, perhaps some bushes, some grass, and most importantly, a farmhouse. And with our beautiful farmhouse completed, I've been planting a bunch of trees all over the place. As you can see from the area back here, I've planted a few acacia trees, I've planted a bunch of oak trees all around the road, and I think this area is coming along beautifully. I've also put down a bunch of accessories such as barrels, flowers, and of course some hay bales, as it would only make sense that there would be a lot of hay bales in the farming district. And then over here in the storage area, we've also added a few hay bales, some chests, some barrels, and around the corner we have added a bunch more flowers, a bunch more trees, some bushes, and this place is really starting to come alive. And most importantly, we have added a grate over the open well over here, and that should prevent anybody like me from falling in and plunging to our doom. And we're still waiting for 1 or 2 trees to grow, But overall, I am very, very happy with the progress that we're making over here. The fields are growing, the forge is smoking, but there's something over here that I want to do. And that is to build a cistern over here next to the dam wall, because my intention was from the start to have the water cascading over the top and into an aqueduct, a cistern, or something of the sort. So let's dig out the area over here, then we'll line the walls with some stone, we'll put up a nice little wall at the top, and finally we'll open up the dam and have the water flowing freely down into the cistern. And finally it is done. The sluice gate is open and the water is flowing. But now it's time to get practical, because we have all of this beautiful wheat in the fields behind us, but we have no way of making it into something that the townsfolk can actually eat. So we are going to be building a windmill where we can grind that wheat into flour to bake bread for the hungry, hungry townsfolk. So let's get busy and build a windmill. And our windmill is complete and looking absolutely spectacular. I really do love the way that this has turned out, and this is in fact the first windmill that I have ever built in Minecraft. And as an added bonus, we actually have an interior for our windmill. We've got some wheat in here, we've got some barrels, and we've got the grindstone, which is going to grind the wheat into flour. And as you can see, we've got the shaft going all the way up to the prop shaft at the top, which will spin around the grindstone and, of course, grind the wheat. And I really, really do love my windmill. It has turned out absolutely spectacular. Now, there's a lot of wheat out here, and there's going to be a lot of grinding happening. So, we have to ask ourselves, what is better than a windmill? 2 windmills, of course. And the second windmill is complete, and this farming area is really starting to grow on me. And down here we have added a dock. I've been a busy boy, and as you can see, we have wheat all over the place. We have barrels, we have the dock, and I have gone absolutely bonkers with a bone meal. And it gives us a nice overgrown feeling because we are out in the country, of course. And over there we've got a little cart that they use to transport the wheat. We've added a few scarecrows in the fields. And overall, we are just about done with this area. And as one last surprise, if we step inside the farmhouse, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have an interior. We've got a living room, we've got a kitchen over here where the hungry farmhands can eat, and then we've got some bunks over here where they can get some rest after a long day in the fields. And with that, I think our job here today is pretty much done. But before we go, check out my nice shag carpet over here by the fire. And what I thought was going to be a quick simple build turned out to be a lot more work than I anticipated. Just looking over the farmlands with a backdrop of the castle on the mountain behind it, this area is looking beautiful. I think this is probably one of my favorite builds to date, and these windmills really just put the cherry on the cake. I am absolutely in love with the country life over here, and the country life loves me. And with everything in place, we can now start thinking about getting in some villagers because we are finally able to feed them. And looking at the interior of the cozy farmhouse, I think we have done a great job. Any farmhand will be lucky to come and live here. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is unfortunately all we have time for today. I do hope you enjoyed the episode. Leave a like if you did, and if you want to see some more, be sure to hit that subscribe button. But this is Fungusaurus Rex saying, until next time, beautiful people, stay awesome. Bye bye.